Today's show is about tabletop RPG etiquette. We won't be talking about the important rules. You know, show up on time, be polite, don't be a creep, shower on game day, split the pizza bill, none of that. No, today we'll be talking about the arbitrary rules of etiquette. The rules that only the most snooty of players would care about. The no elbows on the table, soup spoon on the left type of etiquette. Let's start off with our first rule of etiquette. Define your dice rolling space. A good rolling space would be a table, a tray, or a bubble, a la Trouble. Any die that leaves the rolling area should immediately be re-rolled. Remember the golden rule. If it falls off the table, re-roll the dice, Mabel. Second rule, verbally confirm all hits and misses. No matter the circumstances, ask if your roll succeeds or fails. Yes, it's been well established that the goblin you're fighting has an armor class of 12, and yes, you've rolled a 19, and we all know that 19 is a larger number than 12. However, you should still ask the GM, does a 19 hit? And the GM, reciprocating the politeness, should say, yes, that hits. Remember the golden rule. After you swing your axe, be sure to ask if it hits. Thirdly, share dice during large damage rolls. In the event of a fireball or a critical hit, if the amount of damage dice a player is rolling is equal to the number of players, it's good form to borrow a die from each player. That way, when you roll a mess of 1s or 2s, you can blame the party's dice for why you're rolling like garbage. Conversely, when you roll high, the whole group can feel like they've contributed to the decimation of your target, when in reality, they've done nothing at all. Always remember the golden rule. Be a team player and share those dice. That way your enemies will be put on ice. Thirdly, at the end of each session, tell the game master that it was a good session. The reason for doing so is simple. The GM is curating a world for the players, and sometimes it feels like a thankless job. So when the game ends, as you leave the building, or before you log off Discord, say to your GM, good session. The GM knows you're lying because he's never hosted a good game in his life, but he will appreciate the lie, and the lie will keep him from giving up game mastering, and without a game master, there is no game. Unless one of the other players step up, which they won't. Remember the golden rule. Tell the GM that it was a good game, that way he won't hang his head in shame. And my third and final rule of tabletop etiquette, don't strike anybody. Sometimes, as the game master, you just want to leap over the table and strangle one of the other players. Or maybe, as the player, you're getting real sick of this know-it-all GM who thinks he can just declare your character dead, and you want to give him a karate chop in the throat. However, it's considered impolite to strike your fellow man, and depending on what county you live in, it might be a misdemeanor. Instead of assaulting your acquaintance over a game, remember the golden rule. Use your words to resolve conflicts, much like how a wizard uses words to bellow baleful blights upon innocent peasants. So those are my rules of arbitrary tabletop etiquette. If you have your own suggestions, or if you agree or disagree with any of these rules, please let me know in the comments, and I might read them. That is all. Goodbye.